We're coming live.
Yep, we are up on looks like Instagram and YouTube. Facebook will be open in just a second.
No marketing today.
Pretty one. Not biggie.
All right. I guess we're up and running everywhere. No Nick today. All right.
Well, come on, Facebook.
All right. Welcome everybody.
Yep, we're good.
44th live chat of the last year. I think we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary and
well, yeah, we got to
about
50,
8
50.
weeks or something like that. We missed one, so. And, but as always, this is a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, we'd love to answer it. Certainly, all things 034. Anything about Nate and I, the history of the company, our opinions on things. Happy to chat. Any kind of controversial automotive topics, we're happy to tackle those. It's pretty noisy.
We'll see how the sound canceling's working. We got some pretty raunchy noises going on.
I mean, if it's the same as you used previously,
it is. Yeah, this mic seems to pick up a lot.
And we like to tackle topics and answer them with no BS responses. So, always happy to do that. And so, first off, I wanted to start out with, I don't know how many people are watching yet, but we have launched a spring sale, and we don't usually have a spring sale. We have a Winterfest sale usually, but in lieu of not having Winterfest, we held off for the spring.
Yep.
And so we have up to 20% off on the site. All 034 branded products are 10% off or more, except ZTF wheels, which are 5% off. And then our Dynamic Plus tuning, we are 10% off on B8 tunes and 20% off on all of our other tuning. So that means our new DAZA Stage 2 file is on sale for 20% off. Great time to pick that up.
Yep.
Pick up an intake and a downpipe at the same time. You want to text somebody? It's really loud.
Yeah.
Sorry. So right behind this wall is our manufacturing department, and there's a room specifically where there's a lot of pressing. So we press bushings into arms. We do welding in there, and they're making a lot of noise.
A lot of noise right now.
More than usual. But anyways, our sale goes through the 21st, so it's about 2 weeks, and a great time to purchase anything that you've been wanting to get. I've been keeping track of the new stimulus bill, and so it looks like it was passed in Congress. It was sent to the Senate. They changed it. They passed their own version, and they're sending it back to the House. So it looks quite certain that there will be another round of stimulus. So it means a lot of people are going to get $1,400 checks and stuff. So we kind of wanted to throw that out there too. If you'd like to stimulate the economy, we're always appreciative of any money that you guys send our way, and then we will use that to do more cool stuff. So, and employ all these great people that work here.
Yep.
So, anyways, thank you for checking out the sale. Why don't we jump into some questions? I think
apparently it's Sony. That guy.
Oh, that was Sony. Oh, he's trying to push out the brick?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's some bricks, masonry work. We got any new questions coming in?
Yep.
All right. So let's see. There's some from last week. Someone saying, speaking of B8 2.0 T-Tune, any plans for anything larger than KO4? B8 2.0 Ts seem to be limited to 22 PSI boost. Are you planning to overcome this restriction somehow?
Well, I mean, that restriction's just a factor of the size of the turbo on it. It's not that
well, they're saying, are you going to overcome the restriction?
The limitations of the turbo, yeah.
A bigger turbo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we will. Certainly interested in what people like. The challenge with the longitudinal motors is the KO4 options are designed for transverse, so there's some changes that need to be made to the turbo to get it to fit as a bolt-in. And I think the other issue is, they are slightly older cars, and so people aren't going to necessarily want to run out and buy a $5,000 hybrid turbo or something like that. So we have to find out what the options are. But yes, we would love to, and we plan on offering a full range of performance upgrades. In my experience, the KO4 on those cars is pretty fun, especially with E85 flex fuel.
Yeah.
But if we can, put a hybrid that gets another 50 horsepower without too much more lag or something like that, that should be a great option too. But a really, optimized, strung out KO4 tune with E85 should be pretty powerful and fun.
Yep.
And cheap. Those KO4 turbos are now like $1,000. So, what's the difference between stage 2 and 2+ tuning?
This is for the B8 S4.
Assuming,
Yeah. So it's every kind of model has its own stage terminology that kind of comes with it, depending on what kind of takes hold in the market. On the B8 S4, stage 2 and stage 2+ just means you either have a single pulley, either a lower or an upper pulley for stage 2. A 2+ generally indicates you've got 2 pulleys. Have been modified on the car, so you've got both a lower and an upper, and that's really the distinguishing factor between the two. Typically, it's not necessarily set in stone. You could think of it more as like a certain pulley ratio is kind of where they split, because you can do a huge lower pulley and no upper. But yeah, it's just to do with pulley size. So the faster you spin the supercharger, that kind of increments you up through the stages.
Yeah.
So stage 1 is stock supercharger speed. Stage 2 is a little faster. Stage 2+ is even faster than that.
Yeah, and it's not, it doesn't go to stage 3 until you change out the supercharger head unit.
Yeah, that's generally considered right. You're into a whole new charger at that point, or some other induction.
Yeah. These stage numbers, they're sort of, I wouldn't say they're completely unique to Volkswagen Audi, but they're very, very well embraced in Volkswagen Audi compared to other markets. And they're just made up. Qualitative.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever latches on in the market. Yeah. Like most other like turbo applications, a stage 2 means you downpipe and some other stuff, or whereas that's doesn't really have any hold on the B8 through the
right. The B8s doesn't have a lot of the same stuff that the other turbo applications have, or it has different stuff. So
yeah.
They're hyperbole. So it's good to ask around, and generally we're gonna try to define it to what we think the average consensus is out there. Yep. But there's
no like industry like dictionary that we have that we can like.
There's not like a definition in a safe in Greenwich, England,
right?
Or wherever Greenwich is, where that's defined. That. So, but yeah, it's unique to the 3.0 T. What are your thoughts on the DSC controller? Sorry.
Don't have a ton yet. We actually just put one in the TTRS. We literally this morning, so we'll let you know. Stay tuned. That's the a controller that lets you kind of take over your MagRide, style suspensions on various platforms and really dial it in and kind of reprogram your shock and your suspension essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Should be really fun. We're gonna play with it.
We'll definitely be talking more about that.
Yeah.
I've run out of products to buy after placing my last order.
Damn.
What's in the pipeline for B8 S4? Well, there's a lot. I mean, we're not done with the B8 S4 yet. There's, we'll just say, a range of power adder products that are engine related.
Yep.
We have our SuperDuper charger, which is on the way and we will release imminently. We are looking into supporting more of the ported supercharger products, intercooler upgrades, possibly. We're looking into that.
Yep.
We have ZTF wheels, which are, we believe, the finest wheels on the market for the B8 or B9 chassis. They have same fitment wheels, and offer you the maximum tire size that fits. What else?
On the B8,
Trying to think what else we have coming.
I mean, we may have some stuff, exterior stuff related to the project we're working on,
Oh yeah. So
and then some other stuff that comes with that. So
I don't think we've talked about this. I'll talk about this a little bit since things kind of seem to be slow. So we are doing this project called S4.0T. So S4 period 0T. And we've basically bought a B8.5 S4 that we're putting a 4.0T motor in with the factory B8 S4 transmission.
yeah, DL501.
And then we are putting a non-sport diff with a limited slip in the back. And this is a project car that we're doing to for fun, for concept, to create content for you guys to follow along. It's something that we've always wanted to do. We may release a line of swap parts to support these type of engine swaps.
Yep.
Depending on how it all comes together. And then certainly this will play into our 4.0T tuning program. And, we'll do an initial stage 1, stage 2 configuration, and then we'll move up.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a no limits 4.0T and under the roof here.
With the final goal of, getting maybe like 1,000 horsepower on hybrid or aftermarket turbos.
Yep.
Which would be kind of more next year. The initial, our goal for this year is to get the car running with the swap, kind of like an OEM quality swap that runs on all factory ECU and tuning and programming. So there will be more parts and products coming out of that as well. The intercooling needs some kind of solutions on that, as well as downpipes and just a few of the adapter pieces. So.
Yep.
And I don't know if there'll be anything unique about the calibration specifically,
specifically to the. No, I don't. I can't think of anything offhand. I mean, other than accounting for just some different vehicle mass and gear ratios.
We could potentially offer a swap tune.
Oh yeah,
line of
yeah,
tunes.
absolutely. Yep.
And then as we find little issues with the swap along the way, we'll create solutions for those. So, hang in there. Thank you for your support. We hope you're loving your car. We hope we've made your car more fun to drive. That's always our goal. So, and based on my experiences, I think you're probably having a lot of fun if you've got all this stuff. So, more B8 questions. Are you guys going to do port injection for the B8s? Maybe. So we don't want to say too much about this, but there is some interesting ideas and thoughts we have around this that we may do more with.
We talked about this a little bit last week, I think. Maybe it was the week before, but
people have asked about dual injection.
Yeah, we're actually pretty far along from a technical standpoint on doing multiple injection methods on the B8. And then there's a couple of hardware offerings that are being teased and being worked on currently in the marketplace. So we'll have a pretty good capability. I think much more advanced than most will to support multiple injection and or flex fuel options moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot more coming with B8. We're releasing new stuff regularly.
Yep.
So, and then there was a secondary. Is there flex fuel kits in development for the 3.0T? We're working on.
Yeah, that's all part of that.
No specific time frame, but yeah. I mean that's ultimately why you need we would do the secondary injectors to be able to support that.
Yeah.
Fuel demand.
It all ties in together. So
yeah. Could you share any more details about the SuperDuper charger? Well, I think the name kind of says it all.
Right.
It's basically a. I don't know. You want to go grab one, Sean? In engineering.
Yeah, I think they've got one. Yeah.
Even if it's the prototype or the new one, we'll grab a part to show you. Yeah, it's an upgraded B8 3.0T throttle body with our own cast aluminum adapter housing. We've positioned the throttle body to have optimal flow. There's kind of a range of products on the market. There's these like flat adapter plates, which just kind of put the big throttle body right up against the hole of the stock manifold. Those don't flow very well, and the performance improvements that we've been able to measure are nowhere near what the potential is.
Right.
There's some other adapters that it's just the throttle body is just way too close, and it's kind of like this, and so there's just a real short, small housing that also creates a flow restriction. So we've moved the throttle body away and up, so there's basically a straight shot right through the throttle body into the intake manifold. They are. I thought. What about the plastic ones? They do.
Slackers.
Yeah, because we took them off the cars.
Right.
But and what's the throttle body size?
84 millimeter.
The 84 mil VDO.
It's a VDO. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Bosch.
it's a VDO.
Yeah. 84 mil throttle body. It's a very big throttle body, and we were just doing some testing on it. The power gains are good above about 5,500 RPM. We're seeing a nice power gain. So the only other thing you need to know is we should be releasing it in about a month or so. We're just waiting for the cast aluminum housings to arrive from the casting and machining facility. We don't have a foundry here in Fremont, unfortunately. So yeah, I think we'll make sure it's very competitively priced. And we should have released it 5 years ago. So other than
a lot of products that we think that about. We're always trying to keep up, or we have such a queue of engineering projects, always being shuffled. So we always want it all right away.
Yeah. I'm switching over from APR to 034. Very nice, thank you. On my B8S4, does the Stage 2 Plus Ultracharger come with advanced launch control? Can I use test pipes? Yes.
Yep. We have for the B8s for every single calibration level. We have advanced launch control fully enabled. So stage 1 all the way up through to 2 plus, all the throttle bodies. So I don't think you're going to find a more complete offering out there anywhere for the B8s. So you get all the goodies, all the toys.
Yeah, and then someone's asking, in terms of the SuperDuper charger, will there be an intake option along with it? Yes. Yep. So we already have a new silicone hose design, so you'll just need to either purchase that or we'll include it in the kit. I know we got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But we'll sell the hose separately. It won't be that expensive, and that way, whatever intake you have will work with either throttle body. You'll have both hoses, but the hose is the only thing that changes. The cool thing is, once you go with the SuperDuper charger, our intake hose just turns into like you could stick your arm through it. So it's like the highest flowing intake you'll ever need on a B8S4. I don't care how much power you're making. Well into the 600 horsepower range, it'll be like not having a filter at all.
Guess what's the SuperDuper charger? Is it a larger OEM supercharger? No, the SuperDuper charger is a larger. It's a play on words from another product that came out, but it's a larger throttle body housing or much larger throttle body housing, and then a cast aluminum intermediate plenum between that throttle body and the intake.
So I didn't choose this naming convention, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's what the market knows it as. And, APR released an upgraded throttle body, and they called it the Ultracharger. It's not a charger. Yeah. It might be Ultra if you want it to be, but it doesn't supercharge anything. It just lets a little bit more air into the motor, and so that unfortunately the naming convention is now upgraded. Throttle body is now the charger, whatever. So we went for the SuperDuper charger, just to kind of take a lighthearted swipe at the name. It's just a bigger throttle body, but we will publish all the power and dyno gains. It's a worthwhile modification, but we're not going to put any hype around it. We're going to tell you exactly what it does, and it's mostly a power adder for high RPMs in the top of your power band, because the stock throttle body flows plenty of air, below 5,000 RPM. There's no need for a bigger throttle body. So that's what the SuperDuper Charger is, and stay tuned for a product release if you're interested in that.
Yep.
How much more power is there left to gain running full E85 versus the E40 blend?
Not much. We really haven't seen a lot of power increase going all the way up to E85. Maybe a little bit of like additional knock stability, but that's, I mean, it's really marginal when you're bumping from E40 up to E85 on these.
You get most of the gain in the E40.
Yeah.
Will there be any new Tiguan MQB developments? First off, let us know what you're interested in. We're looking at this application more. We have had requests for the Tiguan lift kit. A couple companies do it, so we will be doing our own version of it. It's basically spacers that go under the strut mounts, and it raises the car like 1.5 to 2 inches. Super easy product for us to do. We won't be innovating or bringing anything new other than just supporting customers with a quality product that's very similar to what's on the market already. So we're planning on doing that. As far as intakes or tuning or specific, the Tiguan's kind of interesting because some people want to raise it and make it softer. Some people want to lower it, make it stiffer. So it would help us to know which direction you all want to go.
Yeah, and they don't share the same ECUs as like the GTIs. So it's, even though it's an MQB platform, they're quite different from a calibration and engine standpoint.
Would you recommend preemptively changing the cats when going dual pulley on B8? I mean, if you have like a bunch of extra money or you find a really good deal on some, but I don't know. I mean, I think if you want to, I don't know. I mean, by the time you pull the cats to inspect them,
it's hard. It's hard because they're a short life. But of course, when possible, you always want to have the cats in the car. It's a tough one to answer because they're known to go. They go stock.
How many miles are on this car? I would start there.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're like 100,000 miles on the original cats, then I would change them. Probably
starting to fail already, regardless.
But if you're at 30,000 miles, I would rock those things for a lot longer. But it is a wear item, so it's kind of like, should you change your brake pads now or wait till they wear out more? Unfortunately, you don't have a indication of how they wear.
It's such a hard one to answer because it does get dicey when the cats do go.
Yeah, you got to really catch it
to keep the engine healthy.
You got to catch it quick because you can have an engine failure if you're not careful.
Yep.
So,
and that's across the board, whether you're running a stock tune or a full on stage 2+ tune.
Yeah, but for sure, if money's not an issue or whatever, and you have the cats, just put them in.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. So, anything new for the 8 V.5 S3?
We are working on, we're going to be bringing a lot of our specific features to those platforms.
We're going to be adding a lot of tuning features to those calibrations.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
Yep. Some of the DQ381 stuff's likely getting a little bit of a refresh coming soon here, and getting a DQ381 product page up is another critical thing we're working on. We are still working on those actively.
We have a new intake coming out that should fit that.
Yep.
It's just it's a X34 intake with just a big filter and a very high flowing hose. It's designed it's more of like a tuner intake. Our other X34 intakes are real OEM plus. They're enclosed. They look really nice, and this will look nice too. But it's just kind of a filter on a stick, as we like to call them. But the idea was just to hit a really low price point with a high quality product, like we did for the B8 3.0T intake, and so that's coming soon. All the MQB stuff we release. So I would say just check out our websites. Mm-hmm. If you're not on our mailing list, please get on our mailing list. You could always email contact@034motorsport to be added. And we do targeted emails. So if you say you have an MQB, you'll only get on those MQB emails. So, and that's just for anyone. If you want to get updates on our products, shoot us an email, get on our email list. We try not to send too many emails, like maybe 3 a month or something like that.
Yeah, we try not to spam you with all that.
And when we do, they're cool emails. It's about a new product release. It's not just a dumb thing trying to get you to just buy the same stuff over and over again. We only send new information. Well, this new upgraded throttle body also fit the C7, A6, A7.
Yes, it should. The intake hose is going to be a little different.
Yeah, I don't know about the hose. We'll have to, Mark, write that down.
Yeah, get that. No, jot that down, Mark.
Yeah. Would you guys ever make a B8.5 3.0T exhaust system? Probably not at this point. I don't know. The exhaust systems are big and bulky, and they have a lot of fitment issues, and they're pretty expensive. So we really like the ResX option. Whenever we do exhaust stuff, it sounds better on some cars than others, but so far we haven't stepped into the exhaust market. There's frankly already a lot of good options out there too. They're also big and bulky. So
yeah,
you need
it's just a whole.
store
It's kind of its whole beast to try and warehouse build support.
Is there a map for stage 2 when an upgraded crank point E40 intake for the 3.0T?
Yep, that's our stage 2 file.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we have 91, 93, 100, 104 octane, and E40 files for stage 1, stage 2, stage 2 plus. Yes, we've got it all there for you.
Yep. That's literally the file.
Yep.
Using your B5 front upper control arms, do I have to shorten my tie rods to get more negative camber than 1.5? I want to get 2 or more. So when you're doing the alignments, you're going to have to adjust whatever you need to get to the targeted camber that you want. So the issue with the tie rods is if you get to the right camber, you're likely going to experience some toe out more than you want. So then you're going to want to adjust your tie rods back in. So there's somewhat separate adjustments. The tie rods don't necessarily determine your camber; they determine which way your tires point.
Yep.
And but all those things work in unison. There's a camber curve you may have heard of, and so as the suspension compresses, all the alignment settings change. It's a very dynamic setup, and everything's kind of related to everything else. So, you'll have to make all the adjustments required to get the camber you want and the toe you want. Caster's not really adjustable on these cars. And then you got to make sure your steering wheel's straight too. So yeah. But I don't know if you're doing your own alignments. If not, just take it to an alignment shop. They'll handle it all for you. Easy peasy. How about a ZF8 swap for the B9 SQ5 so it's actually reliable? What?
Yeah.
Bro,
I don't know.
It's the weirdest question we've ever gotten.
People seem to think the DL501s are like made of glass because there are.
Why do people think that?
Some have issues.
The
mech. Some have had mech unit issues, but I think that's much more like noise to signal ratio than that's actually out there.
As in just a few high profile people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We've swapped 2 ever here in our service department.
I mean, we all had a lot of problems.
Yeah, a lot of problems, but that was OEM.
That was a factory,
and that was like the latest version, and
that was a software issue, right?
I don't know what it was. It was a whole bunch of stuff on this, but I mean, it's yeah. I don't know. Overall, they're extremely good transmissions.
Oh, do you know anything about those, Sean? Yeah, that's the thing. You got to know why.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's nothing that we would ever do. I like the ZF8. I think it's an amazing automatic transmission. But if I already had a good longitudinal DSG like what the B8 has, no way. I would not even consider that. So, our position is the DL501 is not unreliable. It's actually very reliable. It's very strong. I mean, it's powering many 10-second cars with really fast, aggressive launches and shifts. So it holds a lot of torque. It's a very reliable unit. I don't know how much they are used, but I mean, if I ever had a problem with one, I'd just swap in another used one. You know, not worry about it. So the ZF8 is what we've been given since the B8 S4 by Audi, and we will do amazing things with it. It's still an automatic. It's a really good one, but it will never quite be a DSG in the way that it shifts and operates and performs. So I would enjoy the heck out of that DSG that you got, and not worry about it too much. If there's something specific you've experienced, please let us know, because I'd be interested to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, all transmission systems have their quirks and their their maintenance requirements, but
There's no perfect transmission.
Yeah, well maintained DL501s are pretty solid units.
Does lowering the PSI on tires a little help get better quarter mile times? Yes, it can.
It can. It doesn't mean you're going to get better quarter mile times. It actually will typically slow you down trap speed wise. But if it lets you get out of the hole quicker and have some better traction off the line, you usually end up with a better ET.
Yeah. So what happens is, let's say you go to do a launch and you have a lot of you have 50, 60 psi in your tire. It results in a very hard tire, and your contact patch. The more air pressure you put in the tire, the more round it becomes, and as far as like across the tread of the tire. So if you've ever seen a tire with not enough air in it, a lot of times it will cup inwards towards the rim. And then when it has the right air pressure, it's flat. And then if it gets too much air pressure, it starts to bow out. So what happens is the contact patch shrinks. But also the tire becomes much less compliant. In other words, the tire won't change shape when force is acted on it. And so that results in, more wheel spin, because there's less tire on the road, and that tire is less compliant to the road surface, so it doesn't grip as well. Now, if you start lowering your pressure, at some point you could achieve kind of an optimum ratio between rolling resistance and grip. Now, the problem is, as you lower air pressure in the tire, it becomes harder to roll. You want to test this. Take all the air out of your tires and try to push your car. It basically won't move. And then you could put like 5 psi in the tires and try to push it. It'll be a little bit easier, but still be extremely hard to move. Go put 50 psi in the tires, and it will be increasingly easier to move the more pressure is in the tire. So a tire rolls easier when it has more pressure, but then it has less grip or traction. So if you can lower your air pressure to say 15 to 20 psi, somewhere in that range, you'll still have a tire that can roll, although with more resistance, but you'll get potentially more grip. Now, these are all, we're speaking general rules of thumb. But all the guys you see going fast, or the people going fast, generally on street tires, they're lowering the pressure in their tires.
Yep.
And you want to see an extreme version of this, look at a dedicated drag racing tire. They're often referred to as wrinkle slicks. And these are designed to have very low pressure, and they have a very compliant sidewall. And so if you look at a video of these cars launching, you will actually see the car launch. You'll see the hub start rotating, and what they're called wrinkle slicks is the sidewalls actually start wrinkling as the hub and rim inside the tire twist while the outside of the tire is still sitting there. Eventually, the outside of the tire starts spinning, and because of that soft compliance in the tire, it has an incredible amount of grip. I'm trying to think of a practical real world example. But I mean, it's I don't know, it's kind of like if you imagine like a rock climbing shoe, that rubber has to kind of conform and comply to the rock surface to have grip. If it's too hard, like if it's plastic, and it has no grip because the contact surface is so small. So that's what happens when you lower the air pressure in your tires. You got to be careful, because most road tires are not designed to operate below a certain psi. People lower the pressure in these despite that. The tire could debead from the rim. It could fail the inside steel belts or nylon belts may fail prematurely. It could greatly reduce the life of the tire. You could die. So don't do it because we told you to do it.
Lots of caveats when playing
So,
these.
I didn't tell you to lower your air pressure in your tires, so don't do it. But if you do, everything I just said could apply.
From a physics standpoint,
Yeah.
it's kind of how things work.
And, like I said, a lot of people are doing it out there. But you do have to be cautious. If you lower your pressure to 5 psi, you're going to have a serious problem. So I think you can Google and read about it too out there. B9 S4 products coming soon. Yep, we always have lots of B9 stuff coming down the pike. We have tuning. Stage 1
tuning's
calibration.
Definitely coming soon.
We're getting some amazing results with our current calibration. So really excited to be able to release that in the next few months. We'll likely come to market with like a stage 1 file, and then we'll back up a stage 2 soon after that, like a racing file. And then we're already working on hybrid options as well. So a lot of exciting stuff coming for B9 S4. We're working on our own intercooler for that because they really need it. High pressure, high flow fuel pump we're working on. So yeah, very exciting. A lot of progress with B9 S4. Yeah. I'm waiting on MQB lower control arms. I know they're a way out, but will they work with your current camber plates? Yes, they will. So what this person is referring to is a completely new lower control arm for the MQB cars that will allow changes to caster and camber. But yes, the product that we're working on will work with either the factory upper strut mounts or our fixed camber strut mounts. And then we have a new camber caster strut mount that we'll be releasing soon, and it will also work with that. And then we're also working on a ball joint solution to correct some of the roll center issues that you get by lowering the car. So definitely some cool stuff coming. Appreciate your patience on that. If you want to get our camber plates now, definitely go for it. The issue is, so you can add more camber in two ways. You can move the strut top in, or you can move the tire out. Now, when you start moving the tire out, you change the position of the wheel and the fender. That can have some unintended consequences. So generally, we would recommend, achieving, if you want a lot of camber, try to achieve it through both methods. You don't necessarily want to do it for one or the other, but it's a good idea to get some camber up top as well, because you can only really push the tire out so far before you start hitting the fender and stuff.
Yeah, and then same forward to aft. You got to watch as you're going like full lock. If the tire's moved a bunch front to back in the arch, in the wheel, it can fender liners and all kinds of other things.
Yeah. Any more products coming for B9 SQ5? Yes, we have a really cool billet strut tie bar.
Yep.
That we're coming out with. We have a really cool X34 intake.
Yep. And again, all of the tuning stuff that we're working on.
All our tuning.
The S4 is going to be coming to the SQ5 too.
We have some lowering links for the air ride cars. Most of those are air ride, from what I understand.
Yep.
And then we're also bringing some really cool ZTF wheels, 20 by 10s, I think. I don't know if we did 20 or 21. Either 20 or 21 inch by 10 inch wide wheels. So I think we've got the 21s on Nick's car.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what they are. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. You can thank our marketing manager for buying a B9 SQ5 and being very excited about any products that fit his car.
Weirdly, there's all these new requests for parts for that car.
Are there any details to be shared about B8, B8.5, 2.8 tuning, E85 intake? We are working on an X34 intake, yes. We already have high flow cat and pretty much everything else you can want for that.
Pretty much all the other power adder stuff.
Turbo kits will be coming. Stage 1, standard type stage 1, stage 2 files with a lot of our advanced tuning features like advanced launch control. Now the later cars, the B8.5s, already have flex fuel, and we're looking at ways of adding flex fuel to the early cars, whether it's flex fuel or just an E85 tune.
Right. Yeah.
think we've
Whether we
decided.
stick with a traditional blended
Yeah.
tune or an 85 tune, and then with the hardware that's there, well, we're trying to balance that because it's the more and more advanced we make it, the more and more hardware is going to be required for it. So it gets a little trickier to get into for most.
Yeah. So, oh hey, can you grab the 15-year shirt? We've been selling them. We released them, right? Oh no, we don't have any yet.
Yeah, I think they're pre-ordered.
Okay. Yeah. Can you pull up the website at all?
Oh, on there?
You can,
Yeah,
like you could on a presentation.
I could. I don't even know where my mouse is here.
Is there launch control on your Stage 2 8J TTRS tune?
No, that was something we never really fully implemented.
I mean, it's just not a real popular tune anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it would be to add it.
It's interestingly on those, it's actually a lot of that is baked into the factory calibration, but it's all disabled and needs to be calibrated.
We might. I don't know. I mean, if a bunch of people ask us for it,
Right.
but that's kind of ancient history, unfortunately. And pretty much every one of those cars already has a tune. So.
I mean, if we were to do anything on that, honestly, we'd probably just bring our advanced launch control stuff over to it, because that's generally been a much better suited
if
setup.
if it's like a day or two of work, I mean, I could see maybe
Yeah.
it being worth it, but or if we end up doing it for other, Mark 6 era tunes.
That'd be Mark 5, but yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Let's try not to go too far.
What was it in? Oh,
Can you add an additional 1 to 2 gallons of E85 on a full tank of 93 for any noticeable gains?
if it's full, it's going to be coming out the filler pipe.
Yeah, well, you know what it is.
We don't typically recommend it because it's a completely unknown mixture. I mean, sometimes we'll ask people to do that for like diagnosis or something with troubleshooting. It's just like you've got a lot of knock or something, but it's not something we'll typically recommend you go out and do.
Yeah, no, we don't have an official like yes, do it. The thing is, E85 requires more fuel per unit of energy than gasoline. So there's these two ratios that you're fighting. One is the more you add, the leaner your fuel mixture becomes. The other is the more you add, the higher your octane goes. So there's some kind of like point of equilibrium where you'll have like a little bit more octane and enough fuel to not have detonation problems or to have a lean condition. But we can't advise you on what that point is. If that's something you wanted to experiment with on your own, we would say go for it. Although with the caveat of you never know what can happen. So if you add too much, you're going to have an issue. But I hear about people doing this, and there's some amount you can add that will maybe bump you up an octane point or two, and still be within the range of what's acceptable for fuel ratios. We just have to be careful because if we
It's tough.
say to do stuff, it's going to be
We have to ride the line of what we can
Yeah.
officially support and recommend versus what people are actually doing out there.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, this is a product we will be releasing in the next week. It's actually in stock and on our website currently. We'll be releasing it tomorrow. Yeah, but you can buy it right now. We actually sold some over the weekend because it was on the website. So this is a Mark 7 2.0T carbon fiber engine cover. Can't really see it in the light there. If you want to hand model that, Sean. Really nice carbon fiber weave. The carbon fiber matches up with all of our other carbon fiber products. Everything's going the same direction. Has really nice 3M VHT double-sided adhesive on the back. But our philosophy with these type of engine covers is, and if you notice, all of our covers will be very form-fitting. So imagine instead of having a hand that's flat, we have a hand like this, right? And so these just grab onto the part. So even if you don't activate the tape, this part should stay put. On several of these, I specifically will test them with no adhesive and drive them around for a week just to make sure that the cover stays put even without the adhesive. So yeah, nice, cool little beauty part. It goes over the factory cover. What does it retail for, Sean? We try to make it price competitive, but this carbon fiber stuff's not cheap to do.
I can bring up the shirt now if you want.
Yeah, bring up the shirt. Other cool thing we want to talk about is our 15-year anniversary shirts. So last year we celebrated our. We didn't really celebrate it because we were dealing with COVID, but last year we had our 15th anniversary of officially being open full time, and this is now on our website. It's purchasable. We released it. We're waiting for the printed shirts to come in. We lowered the price of all our shirts from $28 to $20. It's the same high quality shirts. We're just not trying to make money on these shirts. We really want them to get out in the world, and we realize you guys are giving us free advertising when you wear this stuff. So that's not what we try to make money on. But the cool thing about this shirt is it has all the kind of company project cars that we've done over the last 5 years. Features a Mark 7 GTI, our 8S TTRS, our B9 S4. What else?
The 8S4.
B8 S4.
R8.
And the R8. I wrote a little blurb for the product page. If you guys want to read it, you can. But basically the gist is like, it was really cool for me to see this 15-year shirt compared to the 10-year shirt. The 10-year shirt was really representative of the first 10 years of us being in business, where we built all these kind of really high concept race cars and monster,
your 80TQ, the coupe,
all
coupe quattro,
big turbos on standalone engine managements,
the VLN car, the Time Attack A4,
extreme performance. Those cars on that shirt went anywhere from 600 horsepower to over 1,000, and that was very representative of the business we were during that time. But about 5-6 years ago, we really decided to take the company in a different direction, and we wanted to become a world-class Volkswagen Audi tuning brand, and that meant having a complete product line of world-class products, having ECU tuning and calibrations available. And at that time, we decided we want to compete with the APRs of the world. We want to be that. And so seeing this 15-year shirt, the cars weren't quite as exciting from a car point of view. But when I look at each one of those projects, I can see a highly engineered, high quality product line that's in stock on our shelves, ready to sell and order, which means anyone can build any one of those cars. And those cars all are a blast to drive. They're fast. They have much higher performance potential and capabilities than the cars did when they were new. And again, it's right on our shelf with products ready to ship. And we used to be kind of like, people would place an order and we're like, oh man, we got to make those. We got to figure out how to do that. There would be delays. Now customers place orders. If it's in stock, it ships within 24 hours. And, the biggest issue we have now is just keeping enough product in stock due to the demand and the supply chain issues that we've had in the past year. So it's a cool shirt. We have a blue version and a kind of a red version for the ladies out there. And ladies, feel free to buy a blue one if you like. But the ladies is kind of like a cut for women. So so check it out. Thank you for helping us celebrate our 15 years in this industry. Oh, and this cover is $235 retail. So, all right. Someone's asking, why hasn't there been a want to replace the supercharger with a turbo on the 3.8T platform? We talked
about this last week.
Yeah,
pretty good.
maybe
pretty detail. It's just cost is almost all of it, and just development resources needed to do a full kit to really transform the platform to a turbo is very substantial.
It's a long shot to get something that's better than the supercharger.
Yeah, supercharger is really good.
If you're looking for like 550 to 600 horsepower, The factory superchargers, I don't think you're going to beat it with a turbo setup.
Yeah, and that's why you haven't seen mass exodus on the stock
Yeah.
supercharger. It's a very capable unit.
There was a point like 3-4 years ago where everyone thought the stock supercharger was maxed out at like 200 horsepower ago, and that was just because the companies that were doing the tuning hadn't reached anywhere near the potential.
Yep.
But tuners like us have come in and really pushed the platform, and we're getting a ton of power. I mean, there was 5-6 years ago a lot of talk about this stage 3 upgrade that APR had worked with Magnuson on, and it actually made less power.
It was a packaging nightmare.
Yeah.
And a heat.
And they were just using the same intercoolers on a bigger head unit. So and we've moved past that, and the factory supercharger is awesome. So I think unless you wanted to spend like $10,000 to $20,000 on a really nice kit, there's really nothing to gain.
Yeah.
So who's going to want to do that? Maybe if someone can.
Yeah, it's a lot of expense to try and develop a kit for that.
Yeah. Someone's asking, are you going to make one of those carbon covers for the B8.5 2.0T? Mark, write that down.
Yep, jot that down, Mark.
Yeah, we'll look into it, especially since we want to really commit to that platform. I don't think we've discussed it yet. I know you guys have touched on this topic a few episodes ago, but I'm on the OE spec NGK plugs, but since I'm dual pulley on E40, should I run the DR10 Brisks that you guys sell? How do I know if I need to switch to a colder plug like the DR10s? We have discussed this. I think our official position is you can continue to run the NGK plugs if you'd like. Yep. We are also offering the DR10s that are a slightly cooler plug that will help insulate from any possible detonation issues that you might have. And it's just a good high performance plug. We also like them because they have a silver electrode, which silver has a pretty low melting point. And it doesn't melt obviously during normal conditions, but if you say had some really high EGTs and some bad detonation, then there's kind of like a fuse built into this.
It can almost become sacrificial.
And the electrode melts, and then the spark plug ceases to function, which can really protect your pistons and valves and things like that.
One of those weird, quirky, undocumented things you can kind of...
The Brisks are also really cheap. I mean, they're affordable. There's plenty of plugs out there that are $50 each. These are like around $10 each, generally speaking, $12. So, I mean, spark plugs wear, you got to change them. There's certainly there's nothing negative that you would come across from doing this. And if you've got an extra $50-$60 to spare, it's a nice little upgrade for the reasons that you just described. So, but we're not out here to say you're going to gain more horsepower from these plugs or that you need them or anything like that. So, right. If we felt we did, we would put them as a required.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a required modification, it's going to be listed on our tuning pages as such.
When do you think you will allow local pickup again? Just from a COVID standpoint, probably not this year. Maybe next year. I mean, if things really improve and the CDC comes out and says that everyone's been vaccinated, we have herd immunity, then obviously I would do it. But right now, our main goal is to protect staff here from unnecessary interactions. We have a closed facility, which I feel is a key part to protecting staff here. The more people we let in here, the more chance that COVID from out there comes in. And we also can't afford to have a COVID outbreak here and have our facility shut down. I mean, one of our key suppliers has had that happen twice in the last 3 months. And it's one of the reasons we're out of stock on some of our products. And they've had to shut down their entire facility, clean the whole place. They had to shut down for over a week. It's a nightmare. Our goal this entire COVID period has been to be open here to serve you guys and to ship products. And we haven't had even one case yet. No one at 034 Motorsport has had COVID. We got a nice chunk of wood over here. So, and people are starting to get vaccinated now. So I'm feeling really good about how we've weathered this. But our goal 100% has been to stay open and serve you guys. Local pickups have always been somewhat of an issue, but we've facilitated them through our service department. And so if you place an order, you can always pick it up there. If you really want to come here and pick something up, call our service department and place an order through them if you're local, and they will be able to arrange that for you if it's really important. But generally, we have free shipping, and so we'd rather just ship it to you, and we'll eat the cost on that. So anything above $100 is free. So, but you can, if you're local, you can contact the service department.
Are you guys doing okay? They seem a little down. Yeah, we're doing good.
Us?
Yeah. Oh, maybe need a little more coffee or something. But, no, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, Nate and I are not super animated, excitable guys. We're certainly not, we're not like the slap chop salesman or Billy, whatever, trying to sell you guys a bunch of stuff. We're just two normal guys talking about stuff, and I'm definitely not down. I'm feeling really good. I think Nate is too. Nate's a little stressed out, but
Yep.
great things happen when Nate gets stressed
got
out.
some stuff
I like to keep
coming.
Nate nice and stressed. There's just a breaking point. I like to keep him right below that. Amazing things happen. So,
We got some exciting stuff done this past couple weeks. So.
Yeah, no. And we actually have an exciting event this week that we're going to.
Yep.
So we'll talk more about that next week. Can you make 034 exhaust tips? We've looked into this. We definitely can. I mean, I don't know actually where it left off.
I mean, their exhaust tips are shockingly expensive if you do them nice.
That was one issue. The carbon fiber ones were like, really expensive.
Yeah, and then even a nicely finished, well done, like really professional tip is or a set of tips you're buying four. Gets really expensive really quickly, and then what size do you make it? How do you mount that to your stock aftermarket, whatever you have exhaust? So there's not really a universal like tip we can easily get behind and make hundreds of.
Yeah, I mean the other issue is I designed a whole marketing campaign around it, and HR shot it down.
Oh,
it was just the tip.
Just the tip. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah. That one did pass the.
So that didn't help. But if you guys really want exhaust tips, we'll like I always say, we'll make whatever you guys want to buy. That we don't have to sell our souls over. So, but I think that's where it left off. We designed some really nice carbon fiber exhaust tips with some carbon fiber accents on them, and they were going to need to be like $800 a pair or something.
Ridiculous.
So we kind of backburnered it. On the 3.0T, what's the typical peak boost on E40 Stage 2 Plus?
I mean, that's going to depend on your environment. Atmosphere plays a big factor in these, but I mean, you can usually, I can tell you in millibar, that's you're going to see around 2350 or so millibar, which is about between 19 and 20 pounds of boost typically. Then that's actually, so it's tricky. It depends where you measure it too. That's actually what's getting into the motor. Now, if you're measuring, you've got like a boost gauge before your intercooler bricks, you're going to see quite a bit higher because you're actually measuring the pressure, without measuring the restriction across the intercoolers. And you can see as high as mid to high 20s there. Like I've seen guys that I'm getting 27 pounds of boost, but at the actual intake valve, what matters and what gets into the engine, generally you're going to see around 20-ish pounds of boost.
Yeah. A lot of questions about ETAs.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough because some of these ETAs, it's all stuff we're working on. It's not done till it's done, and it's ready. We're always refining and optimizing right up to the last.
If we say same as last week, it means there's really not a good ETA. Now, B8 SuperDuper charger, like I said earlier, should be about a month out. B9 3.0T tuning. So officially, we're looking to release stage 1 in May. So not too far off. That's just a few sessions of TikTok, and May will be here. I've been really getting into the TikTok cooking content. I don't know if you guys like to cook, but instead of watching a 30-minute long cooking show, they're just like 30 seconds, a minute. They're awesome. And then before you know it, May's here. B9 2.9T tuning will be shortly after that. We're working on that as well. That's probably like maybe June or July. 4.0T tuning, no accurate date at this time. Hopefully, like this summer or this fall.
Yeah.
B8 2.0T tuning, hopefully by early summer.
Yep.
A4 B9 tuning, I don't know. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, there's a couple.
We really need a DSG car.
Yep, there's a couple of
to
things
play
going on
with.
here.
So
Yep.
yeah,
We've got a lot of irons in the fire.
lots of exciting stuff coming, and a lot of progress. So cool. I think we're out of time.
We are. We're pushing the limits here of what Instagram will let us do.
Will they shut us off?
Yeah, it'll just end the stream once we get there.
All right. Well, cheers. Thanks for joining us for another week, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.